Welcome everyone to District 21's week of pathways, bedtime stories. That's a real tongue twister for me. I'm having trouble saying that. And it is a special week for sure, because every night we are going through one level of pathways. Tonight is Tuesday, so we're going to be focusing on level 2. Happens to be my favorite level. And maybe if you're having trouble with level 2, we can change your mind tonight as we work through. We're going to be looking at what is actually in this path and why it's there. And then I'm going to take you into pathways, specifically into my path, because I have a number of paths that reflect the different ways that paths express level 2. They're not all the same. They're similar. I'm going to tell you about all the consistencies, but some paths have a little bit of different perspective on this level. This level is all about learning your style. And isn't that important if you want to communicate effectively? In level 2, we're going to learn, oh my gosh, we're going to learn about a lot of different key things that prepare you for the levels 3, 4, and 5. But certainly your unique communication style is really key. And we're going to note that we explore a wide range of leadership styles through 3 basic projects. That's all, just 3. And those 3 are pillars of the whole Toastmasters philosophy. They are, and you'll get pretty familiar with them, your communication style, your leadership style, and that third big one, which is everywhere and omniscient and sort of sits on the very bottom throughout the whole thing. Does anyone know what it is? The importance of mentorship.
Mentorship.
That's right. It is everywhere in level 2, but also everywhere in the Pathways program. So on that note, you are going to wonder why that is important. So why are we learning that? Well, I am going to start off with a little Pathways bedtime story, because we promised we would do that. Once upon a time, there was a lively young princess who lived in a land quite far away, but easily within reach of Zoom and Teams. And this lively child grew up dearly loved by a kingly father and a queenly mother and various assorted courtiers in a handsome castle-like home that protected and nurtured her as she grew up, innocent to the challenges of the world and brimming with self-assurance. Then, one day, when our princess was feeling quite grown up and tired of school and wanting to get away from her parents and wanting to test her skills in the world, she left her protective home to venture out into the world of work and quickly found herself at a loss of words. Oh my goodness, and a loss of knowledge and a loss of self-confidence. She felt insignificant and young and couldn't figure out why she wasn't succeeding. Why were her managers at work indifferent to her? She did a good job. Why did people think nothing of her? She was great. She did her work. Then she lost her work during a long layoff that we won't mention and couldn't find her way back to a job that she liked. She fell out of contact with her old friends. She stopped reaching out on FaceTime. She had nothing to report on Instagram. And this made her even more fearful. She knew she had to find ways to find the right words that reconnected her to her world with the confidence that she had when she was younger. But how? Here in this big world, feeling disconnected and alone. Well, one day, and you know what happened. I'm sure you know what happened. Oh, we'll go back to this bedtime story at the very end. But it brings us to level 2, which is all about your style. Ralph Smedley, our founder, said, all speech, I'm going to read this, all speech is for communication, and there's no possibility of communication unless people understand you. Your club can help you find out whether you are making yourself understood. And isn't that true? That's what our club does. It helps us gain that confidence to explore our communication style. Now, he also said, understanding comes through communication, not just understanding of ourselves, but others. And through communication, we find the way to peace. Our leaders on many levels will help us achieve that. So it makes sense then, doesn't it, to take time to learn not only about your communication style, but also about leadership. Now you're saying, okay, leadership. I didn't come to Toastmasters to learn about leadership. No, that's true. Most of us come to Toastmasters to learn about public speaking, to lose our fear about speaking, to be comfortable with what's in our heads, and that is going to come out the way we want it to. And through practice and taking risks in a supportive environment, building our confidence through our program, we absorb an understanding about excellence in communication. And that's the key word, because excellent communicators just happen to be effective leaders. So that's how they're related. And God knows we need more effective leaders in the world, right? So at its core, let's just spend a moment or two looking at leadership. What do you think leadership actually is? Is it about being a CEO? Is it about being, a celebrity? Is it about being a politician? Not really. It's really just the art of guiding, inspiring, and influencing other groups towards achieving a common goal. So thinking about that, it doesn't sound so very bad, does it? To think that we can all be leaders at some point in our life. I was just wondering if we might take a look in the chat. If you could pop your chat, I'd like to see what you think, what qualities you think leaders have. Are they, special people, unusual people, people who are different than the rest of us? What kind of qualities? Just a word. What would you think a leader actually is? We forget, really. We think leaders are somehow so far beyond us. I think, for instance, that a leader is accountable, a good listener, being able to delegate, mentor, charisma. Yes, Cherie, sure. And there are many ways of expressing that too. Integrity. Thank you, Grace. Communication, service. How about self-awareness and emotional intelligence? Present, being present, yes. Kind, yes. These are all well within everyone's reach here, certainly in this gallery. Setting goals and pointing the right direction to achieve it. Yes, thank you, Bruce. That's certainly one thing that we learn to do in Toastmasters, is definitely that. Through many different ways and on many different platforms. And we're not going to get into tonight so much as how you can become a leader in Toastmasters. That's going to become evident to you as we work through this level. And you can think how that might apply to your Toastmasters club, for instance, or for other projects that you're doing. But certainly, we're going to be embracing leadership a little bit more in level 2. Now, at this point, what I thought I would do, because I'm going on about level 2, is that I might actually share screen and show you the whole range of levels, so you can see how level 2 actually fits in here. So I'm going to share my screen, and you might have seen this before. Have you all seen this before? This is a fascinating document. It's a brochure. It's quite long, and it breaks down all the paths. But I thought I would use it just briefly to give you an example of the different levels. And while we're looking at this, you notice of those 11 paths you see, there are 6 that are highlighted in yellow. And you may or may not know this, but Toastmasters has changed, and they are now only working with 6 active paths. And those are the 6 I've highlighted. They are dynamic leadership, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, presentation mastery, and visionary communications. After a lot of consultation, Toastmasters looked at these 6, realizing that they were, apart from being the most popular, the most distinct, and that some of the others could be folded into these existing paths. Now, that doesn't mean that you're at a loss if you have already been working on the other 5. You can take as long as you like to finish those paths. However, those 6 that are highlighted in yellow are the ones that are going to be continuing on. And as Toastmasters brings on its new learning management system, you're going to find those 6 are going to be available on your mobile phone, your device, and are going to be updated more often and are going to be given that special care and attention moving forward. And I would also like to highlight at this moment, you can see those numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are the core competencies that Toastmasters works with. And so, for instance, if you're very interested and most exclusively interested in public speaking, then you might think about trying engaging humor, presentation mastery, and even perhaps visionary communications. There's a lot of presentation focus in visionary communications. The others have a lot more to do with strategic planning, management, influential speaking, and actually a little bit more to do with specific leadership opportunities. So I want to go ahead. I'm just going to show you one of those, the dynamic leadership. And the reason I'm doing this is I want you to take a good look. Can you all see that? Should I make it bigger? There we go, 5 levels. And you can see that they're all broken down and they all sometimes look quite similar. And in fact, they are. It's the application and your unique perspective that make pathways work for you. So that first level, they want you to master the fundamentals. And remember in the legacy program, that used to be roughly equivalent to your competent communicator. And then the next level up was learning your style. And that was key to understanding the next parts of your journey. So you had to think about yourself. There was a lot of reflection, but also you could relate it to a lot of other things around the world. And we can maybe talk about some topics for your speeches as we get through our presentation tonight. But certainly there's understanding your leadership style, understanding your communication style, and understanding the introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. And another little key piece that you might know is once you finish level 2 in any path, you can then apply on Pathways to a very special program that's all about mentorship. It's a learning program about mentorship. It doesn't give you credit towards a DTM or to your path, but it is invaluable to understanding what mentorship is and to becoming a mentorship as well. And we find there's a huge need for mentors in Toastmasters. Again, it makes sense. We learn and then we turn around and also mentor in order to fulfill our philosophy, really. So once you have this 1 and 2, you're ready to go on to 3, which is increasing your knowledge. And that's where you get to choose. You have to choose a minimum of 2 of those electives on the right. And those electives change a little bit depending on your path. They may go up into level 4, they may not be there at all. So sometimes that's where it's a good idea when you're choosing a path to take a look at this document, and it gives you a sort of a stand back overview of how the paths differ. Once you increase your knowledge, then you can move on to level 4, building your skills. And again, that's got 3 projects. You have to choose at least one to build those skills. By this time, you're starting to think about what it is that you can do with this understanding that you have about yourself. And hopefully by this time, you're getting into some of these a little more complex projects. And again, at the very end, you're demonstrating expertise. So there we go. It gives you an idea of those 5 levels and how you're working and how level 1 and 2 are so important in order to really have a good time in level 3, 4, and 5. And I say that because a lot of people get stalled when they get into level 3 and 4. And we're going to be working through that throughout the week. But just some understanding of if you do justice to level 1 and 2, then it'll give you quite a bit of confidence to move forward in the other levels. So there we are with talking about levels and what they mean, I'm going to now take you for a tour. Are there any questions right now? Actually, I was going to go on into the website, but is there any questions right now that you might have about level 2? No? Okay. So we're going to go visit my site and take a quick look at level 2 and what that might look like to you or to someone with a similar path. I can figure out how to get there. Where is it? Oops, hold on. I'm going to have to just pop out and change up my browser. Hold on a second.
I'll just pop in with a comment while you're getting there.
Almost there.
Okay. I love mentoring and tutoring people. I will take pictures of the path as I make my way through it, the exact pages, to help people, because sometimes people just don't know where to find these things. They don't know where to start. Right? Just you start with a Google page and your Toastmaster login, and then there's a specific way of getting there, though.
And here we are. So this is my page, and I hope everybody has a page like this where it says welcome and your name, and it'll say where can we take you. And of course, if you scroll down, there's Basecamp right at the very top. So you click on Basecamp. Hello, Basecamp. And I'm going to go to one of my clubs. And we're in. Now there's lots on this page. There are tons of great tutorials. And if we have time, we'll go through some of those. It's down here on this third bar down here. There are so many tutorials. If you don't like watching video, they'll also give you transcripts. So you can download something you can read, or you can actually watch through the video. But today we're going to go and look at our paths and learnings. So we're in. Now this is for those of you who are not familiar with this is the paths and learning page. What happens is that it's much better when you're navigating. Hover over the blue bar and then but click on the white one. So when you want to go home, hover on that, but click on the white one, and that will get you around and help your navigation. Also, a little piece that's very interesting, if you want to get some reports, you click on these 3 dots and it will do a number of things. You can export all your information to PDF. You can add your external training, say you want to get training not in your own club. And there are a number of things that you can look at in those 3 dots. So that's another handy piece as well. As we go down, we're going to look at some of my paths. Now, one of the interesting things about these 3 paths is that they're all, the 3 paths I have are engaging humor, presentation mastery, and visionary communications. They are all different. So they're going to show you a slightly different level 2. So I'm going to go into engaging humor. And you can see I'm already at level 2. I'm working on level 2 here. You can see the levels over on the left-hand side. If I had fulfilled these levels, they would be blue. So you notice they're not yet. So I'm still working on both of them. And it shows me that I've done my first topic, which is know your sense of humor and connect with your audience, which are very different from what I've been telling you, right? Remember I was talking about communication style and leadership style? That's different in engaging humor. But look what's the same.
So
right
how
down.
can you know that you complete?
Well, here we go. When you have actually completed your whole project, you will have to finish up. Shall I go in and show you? Let's
Yes,
go take a look at one that I have done. And I wonder if I could, yeah, I think I will do that because you'll see all the paths. You'll see all the steps that I've taken. This will open up to the beginning, likely. And I'm just going to zip through. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. So as we go through, I think I got to the very beginning. I want to make sure that you get to the beginning. Because at the very beginning, I need aha. So you're going to see this. It is a little assessment when you start a path. Make sure you do this, okay? So make sure you work through it, asks you a number of questions, and you go through your path, through your project. And as you get to the end, it will go through all these various great learning pieces, sometimes videos. You can download your project checklist just to remind you of what you're doing. And you get to a place where you can download the evaluation resource. And you know what? If you don't like being online, you can print your project right there and it will download your project. We checked this yesterday and I think it was about 20 pages. If you wanted to actually print it out, you could print it out. Now you don't stop there. You think you're done, but look what you do. Now you're going to do an after assessment and you're going to go through this after assessment. I've already done it. So it's going to show me my before and my after, and it shows where I learned. Now, this might take time, and this is a piece of every single project, but when you actually finish those two skill sets, congratulations, it says. You go back out, and I'm just gonna have to move my bars here so I can see it. So I'm gonna go back out to my training details. And you notice it's on a different tab. So you don't have to go back on your bar here. It's on a separate tab. When you do that, Grace, what you're going to see is it will say that you've connected, you've done it, okay? So you finished it.
So we turn through.
It will say completed, and right there it will say it's completed. And there'll be that little blue check mark beside the monitor symbol.
That's right.
Then it tells you that you have indeed completed that.
And it will also, will say, I may not have gone through all this though, because I'm still working through it. I have finished it, but I obviously haven't done something there. I'll have to go check and see. But it should say evaluate, so that you can also, they will send you a link saying, what did you think of this level? What did you think, of this project? Now, see, here it is. They want your feedback. But I think the point that Nancy was also trying to make is that when you're actually done your level, you are going to get, see it right here? Remember I said this would go blue? When you actually finish your assessments before and after, and you get this blue check, this white check in a blue circle here, right down here, besides level 2 completion, there's going to be a blue box. And that's where you seek approval. And when you click on that box, you know you're done. And when you click on that box, your VP Ed will be notified that you are ready to be approved. And that's how you get your final level. And then you'll get that level 2 blue dot. And in my next, I'm going to show you another path, and it will show you how I've done that. Does that help?
Yes. So you have to wait for your VP to approve it. Then it is done.
Yes.
Okay.
But in order for your VP Ed to approve it, there has to be a blue box down here where I'm circling around, and there isn't right now. So I could not get that permission. Once you get that blue box, then you can go ahead. What the program is telling you is that, oh yes, you finished your speeches, and now you can seek approval. And then everything it'll turn up to 100%, and you'll be done. But one of the big points I wanted to show you these were the 3 pieces that you had to do in level 2 in engaging humor that helped you become aware of your communication style and your leadership style. In this case, leadership means connecting with your audience, guiding your audience along, and knowing your sense of humor is knowing how you communicate your own style. So that's what engaging humor is like at level 2. Now I'm going to go back to my paths in learning. And I'm going to show you another one. I'm going to show you presentation mastery, and it's a little different. So
yeah,
I'm doing
this.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm doing the presentation mastery now.
Good. Let's go. You know what? Presentation mastery is the most popular path. It's a great path. If you're unsure of where you want to go when you first begin, presentation mastery is a fantastic choice. Now, you can see I'm on level 2 of presentation mastery. I've actually got a few levels there. So I'm 62% done of this path, but see this big blue bar? I've got 100% of level 2. And I can go in and always I can go back to any path I like and look at it again just by clicking the launch. But this blue dot with the white arrow tells me that, yes, I've finished. And what I did, just to remind you, was I did both those assessments. It's really key that you do both those assessments. Now, if we look at the 3 pieces that we need to get in learning our style, in presentation mastery, you can see how they're a bit different. You can see one of them is understanding your communication style, and that pops up about 4 or 5 times throughout all the paths, including this one. But here's a different one. It's effective body language. So it's not the same. It's a bit unique. And then again is the introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. So each of these 3, given that you are totally focused on public speaking here in presentation mastery, this is what they feel, this is what Toastmasters feels you need to know in terms of learning your style. Now, here's the trigger here. Now, remember, Grace, I was saying there was a blue box there if I had finished. So it did pop up. Once I had finished those 3, it popped up and it allowed me to ask for approval. Now, this is something different because I have approval. And what I have here is, come along. It's sure taking its time today.
Okay, they
It
say,
should pop up with a lovely certificate. And that's what you get.
so they say it is said effective body language. Will they give you the details to teach you how to have the effective body language? How can I find all this
Right here.
teaching material?
Right here. So every lesson, every project has an online lesson that, as I said before, you can also download. So they begin with the purpose. There's a project checklist. So if you check on that, you can download it. And then you move forward, you navigate. There are different ways you can navigate. I've got this set up a little bit because I've got my gallery above, so I can't really navigate totally. But it is, as we move down here, you can move from place to place by using this cursor here, which pops up all these different parts of your lesson, or you can use the arrows here, the directional arrows. Notice how you can go forward and you can go back. So I'm just going to zip through this. Look for that. Remember the skill testing questions you had to answer? They're not really skill testing questions. They're just asking for your perspective on something. And then at the end, they'll ask you if you felt you learned. So we're going to go through that. There's actually quite a few questions there. You don't see my questions. But then they talk about the competencies, and hang on there, Grace. Then they start talking about body language, and they'll go through all these things in detail. Posture, stance, position, movement. But that's more. There's even more. They go break everything down for you, all your gestures. There'll be videos and lots of different pieces for you to look at. There will be thinking about comparisons in effective gestures, eye contact, and there's lots more coming. Whenever you see this more, it's a drop down, more. So there's lots of information. You can take this at your own speed. You can move around if you wish. You can go back and look at things. See here, they're talking about facial expressions. There's a video. We won't go through the video. And then there's too much. So all these things, you can just see all the various pieces that you're going to learn. Sometimes it's a really good idea, if you're fortunate enough to have a mentor, to work this through with your mentor. And your mentor can ask you questions as you're going through this assignment and get a sense of where it is that you are having challenges or what it is you're really passionate about. Now again, as we move towards the end, you can see there's your evaluation resource that you're going to have to download in order for someone to evaluate you. And then I'm going to just show you this because it's very cool. You can print your whole project. Isn't that amazing? So all the pages are all there. Everything that you went through online, including the assessment, all those are there. So it's full of information for you. And that's basically it. Does that help you a little bit, Grace?
Yes, but yeah, I need to navigate my website. Yeah, but seems mine, why it looks different.
I'm not sure why yours might look different. You may have a newer version, and so it might have a slightly different interface, but it should have the same language.
Okay, because I just tried to find all the teaching material. I just cannot find it. So
Okay, maybe afterwards I'll let you share your screen.
how can I show my screen?
I can't do it right now, but I will at the end, okay? And then we can take a look at your screen.
Yes,
And see how it's different. I don't have a shared screen on right now for everybody, but I will do that when I get through here. I've got one more that we're going to look at, and that is a classic. That is your dynamic leadership or your visionary communications piece. Sorry, and that I'm going to go back again. Notice I hover on the blue bar, but I click on the white tab, and that's going to take me back to all my presentations, and I'm going to find visionary communication. That's this one here. As you get along, you're going to learn as well. I've got a whole bunch of things here, all these extras that you can get. You can get all kinds of extra pieces in Pathways as you go looking. And one day we'll go through some of those. They're not always, they don't always pop out at you, but they are certainly there as you move through your journey. Now I'm going to click into this last one, visionary communication. Is anybody in visionary communication?
I've done one.
Yeah, good. What's up? Did you enjoy that, Pat?
It's a lot of fun. Good creative writing.
Great. So that's, and if you like that, think about this particular pathway. It's also a popular pathway. And I have finished my level 2. And again, here, I wanted to show you this because here you're going to see the 3 classic projects that some of those key paths have. 1, understanding your leadership style. 2, understanding your communication style. 3, introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. Now, and this one also has that 4th one down there that allowed me to get my approval because I finished both assessments, and it gave me my certificate is there. And with that certificate, you can post it in all, the space that is your personal space on your main page if you wish to keep it there. Are there any other questions here as we head out? Because I thought what I'd do is I'd come out of share screen and then maybe we can see Grace's screen.
Thank you, because I'm new member.
That's good, no problem. So I'm going to stop share. And do you have your, are you up? Do you have your actual page up?
Okay, so let me open it.
Okay.
Toastmaster.
Because now you can share.
So how to share?
Now, do you have the bottom, you go down to the bottom of your Zoom and you see a green box with an arrow?
Share screen, yes, I do.
Yeah. Click on that green arrow.
So.
And do you see a bunch of things above? One of them being your website?
Oh, so, well, nothing's my website.
What, did you see anything while you're looking there?
Desktop 1, whiteboard, iPhone, Safari, unknown.
Safari, is that where your Zoom sorry, is that where your Pathways is, or your Toastmasters? Okay, click on Safari.
Safari, why there's no? Oh, what happened, Google? Oh, I'm so sorry. So
that's okay. Did it go away?
No, I opened it. It's just a share screen. Let me do. Why? Share. Okay, desktop 1 allows you to share screen. Open system screen.
Yeah, you don't want to open your system screen.
Oh, so
you want to open whatever your browser is. So it might be Google. It might
Why?
be something.
So do you mind just ask my son come here?
Sure, we'll talk meantime.
Okay, thank you.
So that's basically the tour of level 2. It is key to foundational knowledge and self-awareness, understanding how you communicate. When you really think about it, we've all been communicating since we were born, and we're always striving to be more effective. And what Toastmasters is saying is once you understand yourself and gather that knowledge about yourself, you can better understand others, and you can even adjust your own style depending on who you're with at the time. So it allows you to be flexible. It allows you to work through conflicts. It allows you to collaborate and have great teamwork with people as you understand them.
Yeah, share the screen.
Yeah, so there should be share screen there for you.
Yeah. Just open it. This is
Is anyone else at the same place? They're thinking about getting into level 2, or maybe you've done level 2 once and you're just tired of it. You know, I've got a whole page here. I was going to pop it into the chat about topics that you can choose. And to tell you the truth, I just went to ChatGPT.
Oh, I have to quit and reopen.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
What's she doing?
Nancy has her hand up.
Yes, Nancy, go ahead.
Hi, I was just going to say, as a VP of Ed, when you complete a level, there's an automatic email that comes through to your VP of Ed. But sometimes people get buried in emails and they just didn't, it went by them. You can always bring it to the attention of your VP of Ed that you have completed something, and the person might be on vacation or who knows what. But it's a 2-step process that has to be approved, and then you turn around and the VP of Ed submits. And sometimes VP of Eds don't know that little double piece. So you can always work with your VP of Ed